Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trumbull Tech's next webinar. We're just going to wait a few minutes and let people gather before we get into it. So hopefully everyone's having a great morning and we'll talk soon. All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Good morning, Elmer. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Excited to talk about some cybersecurity tips. Welcome, everybody, to Trumbull Tech's first webinar of 2026. Going to be going over some 5 training habits to start the year strong. We're just going to jump in. Please feel free to ask questions. All right. So to get this started, let's go over our agenda. My name is Aaron. I am the systems engineer with Trumbull Tech. I'm joined today by my best friend, Elmer. And
Welcome, everybody.
today we're going to be talking about a couple of concepts. Number one, we're going to be offering some insights into best practices for our friends and companies and going over these 3 topics here. We're going to be focusing on cybersecurity this year. We're going to be talking about emerging cyber threats, ways to build secure IT foundations for your businesses. And that's going to center on scalable strategies. We're going to talk about practical strategies for scalable solutions that are going to promote growth and efficiency. We're also going to be discussing some habits for success, what we recommend for some successful starts to the year. So let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about identifying and mitigating emerging threats. Some common cybersecurity threats that we see all the time, and I'm sure you've heard these words before, are phishing, attempting to send mostly emails and messages to learn information and get access. Ransomware, taking hostage of your software and data and encrypting it, and usually asking for money to get it back. Deepfake scams increasingly this past year, and especially towards the end of the year, we're increasingly targeting small businesses. These are highly intelligent attempts at seeking information and getting access, pretending to be payroll, pretending to be employees asking for a change to their payroll, things like that. Some of the best ways to mitigate these emerging threats. Consistency, I think, is an overall theme. Weekly security practices. You should be regularly reviewing your alerts, updating your passwords, double checking security policies like MFA. I know everyone hates multi-factor authentication, but it is strong. Usually the most inconvenient security policies are the ones that are strong. So yeah, the consistency of keeping track of these over and over and over again is the key here. Weekly, I think, is the biggest operative term there. We want to stay proactive. We want to be up to date on what's going on so that we can identify and solve these issues before they become much, much larger problems. And building resiliency is, again, consistency is king, I think most people would agree. Even just the act of gathering your team to discuss security trends and best practices regularly can help keep that top of mind for your team and promote that culture of cybersecurity. Let's talk about building a secure foundation. So we want to encourage a layered security approach to your cybersecurity environment. We want to be implementing multiple security layers. What that means is that we want to take several different portions of your organization, several different attack avenues, and harden and strengthen those defenses. We recommend including endpoint security, antivirus solutions, email protections, phishing, anti-phishing software, anti-spam software, incredibly helpful, not just because the inconvenience of the modern age of having every morning coming into 50 emails in your inbox, that is, we should have put that away a long time ago. But also for security, I mean, you can hamstring a large portion of attack vectors just by removing spam from your team's inboxes. Again, MFA, super strong, super inconvenient, super annoying to use, but we highly recommend it, especially for admin accounts. Anybody who has more power, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, anyone who has more power than your average user should absolutely have multi-factor authentication toggled on for their accounts. And lastly, backups. We highly recommend backing up your data. It's an incredibly important step to making sure that you can get that data back in the event of a disaster. And specifically when it comes to backups, highly recommend verifying the restoration process of those backups. It's almost like I would suggest if you don't 100% know how to restore the data when it's been lost, you should never consider it to have been backed up in the first place. If you don't know how to get it back, what was the point of backing it up in the first place? So we recommend a monthly schedule of verifying your backups and realigning priorities on those backup policies. What kind of data are you backing up? How long are you backing it up for? Those are questions that I think are important to ask on a regular basis to make sure you're meeting what your business needs. And a couple extra key topics here around a secure IT foundation. So we recommend a zero trust framework, specifically in this remote work world. We have users that work from all around the countries in our teams now, and all different time zones, different languages. It's very important that we adopt a zero trust framework. Zero trust is a pretty substantial topic, Elmer. I think you would agree in cybersecurity world. What it essentially means is we want to trust everybody as little as possible. And what that means is user accounts should have, in most cases, the least amount of power. Especially when it comes to giving admin rights, you should be minimizing the number of login accounts that have these extra admin powers, either in your M365 or Google Workspace or whatever you tend to use for your remote work. You should be limiting and minimizing, number one, the number of these accounts that have those powers, and the ones that do, what powers they have. And then what this will allow is really that idea of having a scalable foundation for your IT environments, because this is one of those things that when you're just starting out, it's very easy to implement, because I say maybe you've got 10 to 15 members of your team. You can be very careful on who you give those admin powers to. But when you have a team of 50, 60, 70, 100, it gets a little bit murky. It gets a little messy. So it's important that we start these off from the very beginning to make sure that we are encouraging efficiency and scalability. And I'll pass this over to you, Elmer.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk a little bit about operations. Aaron touched on some great points there. One of the things about IT is that it's technically complicated and yet mission critical to your business. And I worked as in an accounting firm. I ran the IT department for an accounting firm for many years. One of the main things they did was to go into a company and audit the books. And they did that because it's critical that those numbers are right. Your business survival depends on those numbers being right. In the same way, your IT systems have to be right, and your company can really depend on that. And so, how do you know? Like, it's really important to bring in some experts to look at things. If you haven't looked, you don't know. And with regards to the health of your IT environment, there are so many levers and switches to pull that if they're not all set correctly, you could lose data. You could have major security breaches, have your whole environment compromised. So it's important to bring in some experts and occasionally take a good deep look and make sure that your IT environment is healthy. Cloud migration brings a lot of benefits in this environment. In the old days, if we wanted to build out an IT environment, we just started implementing servers. We bought hardware and put them in a big room. It's not necessary to do that, to lay out that kind of capital investment. And there's a lot of efficiency that comes with moving those kinds of resources to the cloud. So many applications are hosted in the cloud now. Storage is available in the cloud. It really gives you the ability to minimize those capital outlays and to scale things as your business grows. And then operational efficiency can come along with implementing automation tools, scripting things, automating repetitive tasks, along with the benefits of a hosted environment, can really set you up to be a future ready business, to get your operational IT in a place where it can grow with your business, be stable and secure, and support you rather than let you down. Next slide, please. And then let's talk about those habits. Aaron mentioned in the beginning, we want to get you set up with some essential habits for success for the upcoming year. Security is a double-edged sword. It never is convenient, to be honest with you. It's always going to be a little bit in the way. But the bad guys are really good at leveraging new technology. And it's important that we stay ahead of them if we can. One of the main tools in that arsenal is multi-factor authentication. The fact is, passwords are completely inadequate. The bad guys have all the passwords. So multi-factor authentication is the only real way to secure your environment from a hacker in China that's just running a brute force password attack against your Office 365 account. So the multi-step authentication, where it's not just something that's known like a password, but something you possess like a phone or some other authentication mechanism, it's critical to secure your environment. And of course, Aaron talked about backups. A lot of people are under the mistaken idea that if their data is in the cloud, if I'm using QuickBooks in the cloud, if I'm using Microsoft Office 365, and OneDrive, isn't my data backed up? No, it's not. It's not backed up. This is hard lessons we learned when the first wave of ransomware attacks hit and data got encrypted. And we found out the hard way that the license agreements for all of these hosted environments don't absolve you of the need to back up your data. In fact, explicitly lay that burden on you. It's still your responsibility to back up your data. And so Don't assume that it's backed up for you. You need to know that. Your business may depend on it one day, that you can restore your data. And just like Aaron said, it's not enough to back it up. The only thing that matters is being able to restore it. And if you just assume because the backup ran, you'll be able to restore it when your business depends on it, that could be an unfortunate lesson. As the IT guy, that's had to recover businesses when the worst happens, you never want to say, I can't get your data back because your backups were bad. So make sure of that. Don't assume it. We talked a little bit about audits, and a security audit is a little bit different from an operational audit. A security audit specifically looks at what weaknesses and vulnerabilities are present in my environment. Things like external penetration tests are part of that type of a thing. And it often incorporates a vendor review, because we learned another hard lesson in the SolarWinds data breach, where a software vendor caused NASA and the Pentagon and the Department of Defense and Microsoft all to be breached at the same time, because they all used the same software program, and the company that made that program got breached and their software was infected. So the supply chain suddenly emerged as a new dramatic security risk for your business. What about the company that makes the little software widget that you need to run the thing on the manufacturing line? Are they exercising proper security procedures within their business? Or are they going to send you a monthly update that's got a virus in it, and it's going to cause your entire environment to be breached? Because that's what happened to NASA. So include those things, take a look at that. And cloud services in particular, I mentioned that it's on you to back up your data. The cloud guys don't do that for you. And you will probably find language specifically in your license agreement, if you go through and look at that, that says they don't back it up for you. So once in a while, you might get a 30-day rollover. But if you need to go back a month, 6 months, 2 years to get something back, then that's just not going to be present unless you're backing it up. Optimizing the environment, securing the environment, same story. That falls on you, not on them. If you're using Office 365, we do scans of that environment regularly. We look at it often with tools that check for vulnerabilities. And it's not uncommon for us to find 20 to 40 severe security vulnerabilities that are present in almost every single Office 365 environment we check. It's a little terrifying, to be honest. And once again, it's not on Microsoft to check those boxes. That company does a tremendous job of giving you access to all the security settings. Everything's a checkbox that you can get access to, but that's not their responsibility to check them properly. That's your responsibility. And so once again, it can be necessary to bring in someone with some expertise to make sure those environments are secure, and that you're not sitting there with some great big vulnerability right open on the internet. And frankly, the best and cheapest thing you can do, again, Aaron mentioned this as well, is creating a culture of cybersecurity within the environment. Make it top of mind, make it a priority. Talk about it regularly, make it a topic of conversation at all your meetings, and do regular training for all of your people, including the people at the top of the organization, because honestly, they're the ones that are going to be the ones that are the juicy targets for the hackers. And so if you're not consciously aware of the fact that that email might not be legitimate, that link might go to a place I don't want it to go to, if you're not constantly aware and thinking those things, then you're going to get caught off guard. And there are really, this is the cheapest and most effective thing you can do to dramatically lower the cybersecurity risk for your organization. Conduct regular security training and talk about it often. So I think if you do those 5 essential security habits and start doing those here now in January of this year, it'll really get you set up for a much more secure and safe 2026.
Thanks, Elmer. It's
Yep,
the human element, right? The human element is one of the most effective things we can do to secure our environments.
for sure.
And we're getting close here to the end, so we just want to go over a couple of tools and support channels that we have available to you, our wonderful viewers. Take a note of the QR code up at the top. That'll take you to our website. Feel free to poke around there. We offer cybersecurity checklists. We offer IT audit templates. We have vendor links. We have built a significant cybersecurity community with Trumbull Tech, and we have those tools at our fingertips for you. We also do personalized consultations. We work with Mac, Windows, Google, M365. We will take a look at what you got going on and make sure that you're in the right direction. We also provide ongoing support. We have talented professionals like Elmer, like myself, like other members of our team who can help you stay proactive and prepared for the rest of the year. And that about wraps it up. I don't know if we have any questions. I've been monitoring things. I haven't seen a whole lot come through, but feel free to take a look at these Q&As, or sorry, Q&As, QR codes. First one, to be able to schedule a consultation with us. Second one will take you to taking a look at our next upcoming webinar, Security Checkpoint, what every small business should review in 2026. And lastly, follow us on LinkedIn, find us on all socials. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Watch this space because we will have more coming at you very soon. And if, let's see, let me do one last check here. I don't see any active questions, so I think that just wraps it up. Elmer, is there anything else you want to say before we call this one?
No, I appreciate everyone coming on board. I hope it's been a productive webinar for you and you've got some useful information out of there. It can be a little bit, a lot all at one time, drinking from a fire hose kind of thing when there's just a big information download. We're obviously here to help answer your questions and set you up for a good year. So feel free to reach out and contact us.
Absolutely. All right. I think that about sums it up. Thanks everybody for joining. Look forward to seeing you guys in February and have a good rest of your day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye all.